Am I the asshole for telling my husband that his grown nephew and his GF cannot move in? My husband's nephew moved into his grandparents' home at 16. He is now 24 and is still living at the grandparents' home with his GF that does not work and her 7-year-old daughter. They do not clean much, if at all, and are sloppy in many ways. Just recently, husband's father passed the grandpa, and nephew is still living there without paying bills. We are in the process of closing the estate. He will have to either move or finds a way to pay all the bills. He does not make enough, and his GF 28, Joe, does not work. My husband wants to move them into our home, so he can keep his inheritance of his dad's 401k, muscle cars, etc. I do not want them to move in. We do not have children. We are both 40 and have cats. I feel that if they move in, they will not leave. In fact, I'm about 97 sure of this. The fact that nephew's GF does not work or support her own child that is not his really bothers me. I halfway caved and said the nephew can move in, but husband said he is not breaking up a family. They are not married, and I feel this is too much. Husband could give them money to set them up an apartment or townhome, something, but he feels that it's setting him up for failure. That in a year, he would be back with nowhere to live. I feel this is not our responsibility to take care of grown nephew and the people he chooses to date. Nor is it our responsibility if he goes out into the world and cannot make it on his own. Though I would help them as long as real effort is being made. This has caused a huge rift between us. Husband at this point has said he will do whatever he feels necessary, and I can deal with it. I said in anger that if he does so, I will be moving out along with my animals. I know if they do move in, I will end up going off on them and asking them to move out. I do not do well with others in my living space. I need my sanctuary or my anxiety goes through the roof. So, it is looking like either way, I'm out of luck. So, am I the asshole for not wanting to take them in? Edit: the nephew is doing the best he can with the amount he makes and is trying. His GF is not. And sleeping till noon daily, will not get a driver's license even though we bought her a car. Most mornings, she doesn't even take her child to the bus stop. My nephew has to do so, as well as any effort to clean up. Edit: the child is in elementary school, and is not home between 3:30 p.m. Edit: husband has just now went back to work after taking care of his father who died of cancer. He had to go into his retirement fund to do so, and was out of work 6 months. He wants to use funds from the estate to replace his retirement funds that were used. Edit: father received full custody when nephew was 1 year old. Then mother disappeared. Father left his son nephew with the grandparent and abandoned him. Father is estranged from family. Edit: we are paying the grandfather house's bills through the estate, though funds for this will not last long. Myself, I've been paying all me and my husband's bills for the past 6 months. Before this, he would pay the mortgage, and I paid all utilities, etc. This worked for us. Husband has always taken my feelings into account in all things, but this time he doesn't seem to care. I know it is due to stress, and he seems to think this is the right thing to do. Well, his parents always took in stragglers, but that is not my way. He has an issue with the child being upset and breaking up his nephew's family. Husband's family has always been low on money. I believe a lot of that was due to taking in all of these people who do not work or contribute. Maybe husband thinks this is what you are supposed to do. Not the asshole. He chose his nephew, not you. Time to create an exit strategy. Find an attorney and begin a legal separation. Give him 6 months to figure out the stupidity of his position. When he has no one to offset the consequences of his decision, such as living in a messy house, he may change his mind. Not the asshole. He is a hill to die on, because it will only get worse if they move in. Your husband is being greedy about the inheritance and may expect you to shoulder the responsibility of housing and feeding 2 useless adults. Legally, if they live with you for any length of time, you will have to go to court to kick them out. If your husband keeps going, move out. The life and marriage as you knew it will be over. Or move out and date your husband, but let him live with two slobs to realize the consequences of his decision. Not the asshole. The one setting her husband's nephew for failure is her husband's family and nephew. Well, the way you can deal with it is leaving her husband. Her husband only has right to the inheritance if he take the nephew in. Is her husband in dire need for money? Not the asshole. I understand your position, husband. This is my position. I will not live in a house with nephew and the family. If you move nephew in, I will accept that as my notice that you will be filing for divorce. Not the asshole. Don't let them move in with you in the household. You need to bring this to a head right now with your husband. He needs to either realize that he can have his nephew and a divorce, or keep his current household intact. He needs to make the decision now, so you can determine when where you may need to go. It is a tough position for you, but you deserve to have a sanctuary in your home that does not include messy freeloaders. Not the asshole. The only way I could see this working is if your husband is incredibly wealthy and your home is so big that it won't matter if they are there. If you have a maid service coming to the house and a chef who will only need to cook a little more, then go with what your husband suggests. Otherwise, get out while you can. OMG, why did you buy the GF a car? She doesn't even have her license and refuses to get one, and you bought her a car. Good Lord, no. Get as far away as you can from her, lol. Not the asshole, and my response would be hell to the no. You will never get them out. You will be raising their child and supporting them. Nephew hasn't done more because he wasn't required to. Your husband would be hurting him and not helping by enabling his behavior to continue. There is no reason for him to change. You are not responsible for a grown adult's decision. Not the asshole. They should not get to move into your home against your wishes. I can understand your husband wanting to help his nephew, but he is completely steamrolling you here. Not the asshole. If he lets them move in, hold true to your word and move out. See how long he makes it taking care of those three on his own, because if you stay, a lot of that is going to get dumped on you. I think it's time to get your stuff together and move out. Separate your bank accounts if you haven't done so, get your passport, birth certificate, and etc. stored in a safe place, and be ready to move out the day your husband says his nephew is moving in. Don't discuss anything. He has been warned of the consequences of him making a unilateral decision. Your marriage has an expiration date. The sooner you get used to that, the better you will be emotionally ready to leave.